Emotional plea for privacy today from the families of the Sandy Hook school shooting victims.
They're pushing state lawmakers to pass a bill that would block the public release of crime scene photos and other records from the tragedy. News 8's Jamie Miro live in our Middletown newsroom to tell us why the parents want to keep those records under wraps. Jamie.
Sonia and Darren, clearly the families of Sandy Hook have been unified. That has not changed since the massacre happened in December, and that was very evident today. And the basic question they are asking is, what good can be accomplished by releasing either photos of Sandy Hook or, for that matter, the 911 calls themselves? With the legislative session set to end next week, there is momentum to pass a bill prohibiting the release of crime scene photos, 911 calls, death certificates, and certain statements centering on the Newtown massacre.
There is no reason to look. Please pass House Bill 6424. Thank you.
20 Sandy Hook families came to Hartford Friday to speak with legislators about the importance of passing this bill quickly.
We know who committed these terrible acts, and while we don't yet know why, we know that releasing graphic photos that specifically identify our loved ones will not answer that question.
While mainstream media often gets criticized for sensationalism about certain stories, families who participated in a Capitol press conference say there isn't fear with popular newspapers or television stations. They worry about the so-called independent journalists, in addition to people who will use sensitive information to push an agenda.
Unfortunately, newspapers are no longer the only disseminators of information. The world of information has changed substantially over the past few years, and our freedom of information laws need to adjust to the times.
Even if I could set aside the personal harm, I cannot stand the thought of seeing the graphic depiction of my child's death promoted to serve anyone's political purposes.
Families say there's already been the call for the release of the photos, and with the investigation supposedly wrapping up soon, time is of the essence. In addition, they say a law keeping certain records sealed has precedent.
None of us here want to hear gunshots and the screams of our loved ones as they perished. And frankly, I'm not sure how you can make an argument that hearing that in any way advances public policy or the public's right to know.
Although we are told that this bill specifically pinpoints the Sandy Hook massacre, one Sandy Hook mother said today that she would not have a problem if this bill or law would be broadened to include all crime scene, all criminal cases. Now, Senator McKinney, who represents Newtown, says he actually hasn't counted the votes to see if he has enough to get this legislation passed. But again, those families were going to several different legislators in Hartford today, trying to convince them about passing this legislation and passing it quickly. More at 6. For now, though, we're live in the News 8 newsroom at the Middletown Press. I'm Jamie Miro, News 8.
All right, Jamie.